We are not getting a divorce.
We are not getting a divorce.
We are not getting a divorce.
Super divorce.
Hello, welcome to the Super Divorce Supercast. I'm Nicholas Villars, the vocalist in this band.
I am Bob, and I play guitar.
I'm Dale, and I play bass.
I'm Bender, and I play the drums.
We're going to talk about the worst of things tonight.
Here to complain about shit.
The whole time.
Bitching and moaning.
The whole time. Mm-hmm. I guess I'll start off real quick because I've got something on my mind.
Okay.
That was that, I don't know if you saw the latest portrait that I drew.
Just now, the guy from Lazy Town.
Yeah. Robbie Rotten.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with that guy? Have you seen that GIF before where he's like surprised and it's really annoying?
No. I'm about to look it up, though.
Okay. Well, I was just going to say I only got to post that tonight because I was searching for it all night last night.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember his name. I just had the image in my head of what he looked like, and I was trying to look up, like, you know, children's show villain, big chin, idiot, dumbass pompadour, big chin, children's show.
Yeah.
Just like all the different ways that I could search for the guy, and I couldn't find it. And then finally today...
Did any weird porn pop up?
No porn.
Kidding.
Lots of pictures of Jay Leno.
Yeah, big chin.
Yeah, and Big Show.
Is this
actually?
it?
Yes, that one. I hate that fucking GIF. It's always pissed me off. The first time I saw it, I was like, I don't know who that is, but fuck him. And so I remembered that I first saw that on 4chan.
Yeah.
And I was like, I wonder if by chance it's still being posted there. And it was.
Oh my god.
I went to like the, because they've got all the different categories on 4chan if you've never been to that site before. And there's one for like safe for work GIFs. Because if you go to the regular GIF section, it's just all porn.
Yeah.
Pretty much. And people like getting beheaded and shit. But,
Oh, cool.
you know,
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So I was able to find it after several minutes of scrolling through pages.
Oh my god.
And then I was able to go ahead and do that portrait.
It's a weird ass show.
Isn't it?
I've only seen like a little bit here and there, like when my niece used to watch Nick Jr. But it's very odd. Like all of the people are like they have exaggerated features and stuff, but then they live in like this cartoon world, and then there's also like puppet characters, and it's very odd and not entertaining at all.
Sounds like a good program.
No, it's the worst.
Is
The
it
worst.
still on?
Probably.
Was there like any learning aspect
I
to it?
I think it was like one of those. It was more of like a. Well, there's the one. Just looking up the GIF. There's the character Sporticus. Yeah, who's like a good guy, and he obviously plays all the sports and everything. So I think it's kind of one of those like get active / like learn how to be a friend type shows. But there's no like math or that kind of like Dora the Explorer learning. It's much more life lesson oriented, I think.
So the kids are supposed to learn what not to do from Robbie Rotten.
Probably.
It just sounds like a shitty punk rock guy.
It
Like,
Yeah, I was confused as to who that was. I've actually...
It's like Johnny Rotten's less successful brother.
Robbie Rotten. I'm sure he might be inspired by... I know we're not supposed to Google things on this show, but I just broke that rule and figured out
too.
Lazy Town is Icelandic.
Oh.
So it has its roots in Iceland. So...
well, I just lost a little respect for Iceland. I don't ever want to watch that show.
Yeah, it's not good.
No. Dale, what do you think of Lazy Town? Just off of what you've heard here tonight.
I'm gonna have to agree with you guys, I guess. I don't know. I know nothing about it.
How about based off of the GIF that Bender pulled up on his phone?
Well, I'm gonna be honest. It made me giggle.
It made you
It
giggle.
did make me giggle. So
I didn't find it annoying in the least.
No.
If I came across that GIF and it was like
pinching
my
the
reaction
bridge
when
of his nose.
my reaction when something, and it's like a surprise GIF, I would have been like, huh, and then gone right past it.
Yeah,
It wouldn't have bothered me, but it wouldn't have pleased me enough for it to be memorable in any way.
I hope that GIF is part of like the GIF keyboard on Facebook. I'm just gonna use it in the band chat all the time now.
We all have those kind of things that stick with us that bother us. I can think of, especially Jason with the pinky guy from Kingpin.
Yeah, if you've seen the movie Kingpin, you'll probably remember. Maybe you'll remember. I don't know. It's a pretty small detail, but it's been an inside joke with a small group of friends and myself for some years now. But there's a part in that movie where a guy in a wheelchair has to flip a switch. He throws a switch to turn on the ball return at the bowling alley. Yeah. And then they're going to...
They're carrying Woody Harrelson's character toward it to stick his hand in there and mangle it all up.
Yeah, yeah. And he got caught hustling.
Yeah.
So that's his punishment. And so they're going to turn on the ball return and stick Woody Harrelson's hand down inside of it to take it off. And the man who's tasked with that job is this wheelchair-bound man, probably his mid-50s, and he's got this stupid look on his face. And when he throws the switch, the camera pans down to his hand, and he uses his pinky finger, and it's kind of curled up like a hook.
It's not a singular. It's not a deliberate.
No, it's as if he wraps his pinky around the switch.
And then slowly pulls it with only the muscle in his pinky.
Oh, yeah.
His whole hand, there's very little hand movement. It's more just the pinky itself.
Yeah. Have you ever turned on anything using your pinky?
No.
It's just, it looks so unskilled and pointless.
Yeah.
Like, it had to have been something from the director, like, okay, don't use your whole hand and just flip the switch like a normal person. Use your pinky and do it in a very unskilled fashion.
Well, my friend Jason and I discussed this, actually, and we were wondering whether that was written into the script or if it was like a piece of flair that the actor threw in, a little ad-lib.
Could have been. Yeah, could go either way. I just imagine probably what are the brothers' names? It's a Farrelly Brothers movie. So I can imagine those guys deliberately giving him that direction.
Yeah.
Because that guy is actually a Farrelly Brothers regular. He shows up in all their movies. Weird. But that's one of the worst as well. It's pretty bad.
It has to be the worst way to turn something on.
Yeah. I mean, short of using another body part that you're less skilled with than your hand.
Like, I guess you could always get worse. You could take like a...
You could bend over and try to
nudge
it with your nose.
Grab a stick from outside and come back inside and try and flip your light switch.
Yeah, all the while, Woody Harrelson's struggling.
Yeah.
When you were a kid, did you ever get those like sticky hand toys and then try to figure out ways to make things in your life go quicker? Like, oh, I need a piece of paper. Like, throw it at the paper and try to get it to come to you.
Yeah, Ivy still does that.
There's
I think
one
I've
of
seen her
those.
try to open a door with one, and I was like,
Sounds about
that's not going to happen.
I got her one out of like one of those like 25-cent little toy things in the front of the stores. I got her one, and she was playing with it for a second, and then she flung it up on her wall at work, and it has been there for months, 3-4 months. It's just been stuck to her wall.
This is Bob's girlfriend we're talking
Oh,
about.
yeah.
Also, one of the worst. No.
Speaking of the worst.
The best. The very best.
We can't talk about it because it's the best.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. What else is the worst, guys?
Well, I was going to ask if either of you two had any little things from movies, like we just talked about, that just seemed to bother you.
It bothered me. I posted about this in the Divorce Club. I posted the trailer, but earlier this week, Lindsay and I watched Laid to Rest on Hulu. And I thought, even for a slasher movie, I thought it was one of the worst. And I think that what bothered me the most about it is, like, the main chick, like, the survivor girl, so to speak, was just the dumbest. So stupid. And I think very late in the movie, you're supposed to infer that she was given a concussion, and that's why she can't think of anything. But just the whole movie, she was just she couldn't explain anything, you know? So she'd be like, she gets out, she escapes from a morgue and gets picked up by some hillbillies that are helping her, and she's just like, I woke up in a dead box. It was a dead box in a dead place. And we're just like, what? Or literally right in the beginning, she falls out of a coffin.
Mm-hmm.
She goes into the morgue where, like, they keep all the bodies and everything. You know, there's no bodies out or anything. She finds a phone. She calls 911 and somebody answers. She can't describe where. They're just like, where are you? And she's like, I don't know. And they're like, well, is there anything around you? And she's just like, dead people. You know? And so the police lady's like, okay, just like stay on the line for 30 seconds and we'll track the call. And she's just like, okay. And it's a corded phone, right? Like an old school corded phone. And then, like, so as soon as the lady says stay on the line for 30 seconds, she hears a noise. And she turns around and sees, like, one of the doors in the coolers have been, like, open. And so she starts walking towards it. And, of course, the line starts to get taut or whatever. And she's just like, the policewoman's like, okay, 20 more seconds. And she just keeps walking and walking. And then she just pulls the cord out of the wall. And then, like, pulls out the dead body in the morgue, looks at it, gets scared, runs over to the door, all while holding the phone. Somebody, like, comes to the door, scares the shit out of her. She falls out on the floor, and then she's just like, hello? Are you still there? And then, after literally, like, 2 or 3 minutes, realizes that her dumbass pulled the line out of the wall.
You would feel that when you were walking. Yeah. Because it's not easy to pull the phone cord out.
No.
I mean, you have to...
No.
And she was walking at a very slow, like, scared movie girl pace. And then it just, like, pops out of the wall. It was hard to get through. That movie was difficult to get through because she was so dumb the whole time.
I'd imagine that changes the dynamic of a horror movie when you're not necessarily rooting for the character to survive.
No, I wanted her to die like the whole time. I was just like, when's this bitch gonna get it?
If you establish a nice emotional connection to the characters and then they get killed, you know, that adds suspense to the movie. But if you are sitting there like, wow, I can't wait for this person to be beheaded, then kind of defeats the purpose of watching the movie.
She can't remember her name. So the hick guy that's helping her out is like, okay, well, like, let's give you a name, you know? Can you think of, like, anything from your childhood? Like, think of anything at all or whatever. And she, like, sits there for a second and then she's just like, Princess Gemstone. and so they call her Princess for the rest of the movie.
Good God Almighty. Well,
yeah.
That sounds like the worst
thing
bad. Ever.
And there's a second one.
Like stuff from Scary Movie, like the parody movie, Scary Movie. It sounds like stuff that should be sprinkled into those movies. Is what that sounds like.
I don't remember. I guess it's accurate if it's in the movie, but I was going to say I don't remember what happens if the cord actually comes out when you're on a call.
I don't know. Like,
because I felt like if it wasn't actually hung up on the receiver, that maybe you could plug it back in, but it's been so long.
Oh, it breaks. Like, it doesn't just pop out of the phone and then you can like pop it back in.
Yeah.
It like severs somehow.
Okay.
You know, because you see little wires underneath the phone.
Oh, so she actually like snapped
the
wires.
The
inside,
wire popped off and all the wires snapped.
and she didn't realize.
No.
That's pretty pathetic.
As if it had been cut, but it was just her pulling on the phone.
Okay.
Very, very gently. It was terrible. Not a good movie. Unfortunately, well, and like I said in the Super Divorce post, unfortunately the gore was like very well done. You know, like the spoiler alert, the killer gets his face like melted at the end of the movie, and is like alive and writhing while he like has a mask, and they put this like medical glue on the inside of his mask. And also some chemicals, so when he gets it, he puts it on his face and it starts to melt his skin, so he pulls the mask off and like his whole face comes off. And he's like laying in a pool of blood and like his skull is exposed and he's just like, and, you know, his eyes are like foaming out and shit. It was like awesome. It was really fucking cool, but the movie was just terrible. I would still say it's the worst.
What do you got there?
Papa John.
What do you guys think of Papa John? Papa John Schnatter.
Like the guy himself or the pizza he makes?
Man.
Well, let's talk about the pizza first. What do you think?
Good.
Not good? Would
No.
you say it's the worst of the pizza chains?
I would eat Cousin Vinny's before I ate Papa John's.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think Cousin Vinny's is awesome.
Yeah, I eat Cousin Vinny's quite often, actually. Chicken Florentine.
I was gonna say, when I did eat pizza, I put Papa John's literally on the same level as Pizza Hut. I thought the pizza tasted exactly the same, but the crust was different.
I've always felt like Papa John's had a unique flavor, but it hasn't been my favorite. Every now and then I will kind of want Papa John's, but not usually.
Right.
And they're really fucking overpriced,
They are.
in my opinion.
That's part of the reason I never go to them is because you can get, you know, the same amount of food from Domino's and Pizza Hut for probably about the same price. But then you go over to Papa John's and it's just like, well, I'm not. Why? Like,
yeah, I think their prices are the worst.
Yeah.
As far as the pizza
But Papa
chains
John
go.
as a person is what we want to highlight, because this is a man with an estate, you know, an Oprah level estate.
He
talking,
lives in a castle.
basically, it's like a new age Camelot, and he's got tennis courts and basketball courts and stuff, and
he has a moat, doesn't he?
yes, he does. I was gonna say I don't know.
moat
But
He
I just
rides
gotta
a
say
horse
yes.
to his farm.
Yeah, which is also a horse.
I'm fairly certain that I
It's a
saw a
bigger
picture on Facebook describing why he's the worst, and part of that said he lives in a castle with a moat.
Yeah, it makes sense because, and then you know the reason why he's the worst. We're not saying he's the worst because he's rich, but we're saying he's the worst because I remember they were gonna raise the minimum wage, like 50 cents or something, and he was one of the outspoken detractors of that, saying, "Well, if you raise the minimum wage, I'm gonna have to charge more for pizza." And I'm going to have to cut employee hours and stuff. And one of those that was like threatening to make major changes to the business model because of this extra
50 cents.
Yeah, and he did the same thing over healthcare too.
Yeah.
He was outspoken against Obamacare because it was going to raise his pizza prices 14 cents a pie.
And according to you guys, they're already overpriced.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
man.
Maybe that's
not
why
a
his
good-
butt hurt, because he knows he already charges way too much. Well, fuck. Now people really are going to be pissed.
Yeah.
I don't know.
People like him, it's just like, when are you satisfied? You have a national... I don't know, is Papa John's national?
Yes.
Yeah.
That you have a national pizza chain.
He originally, I believe he was one of the founders of Pizza Hut. And he
Oh, really?
broke away and started his own thing because he was I guess, dissatisfied with the way they were running things there.
They were charging enough for their pizzas.
He wasn't making a big enough
the
cut.
Original,
Yeah, he couldn't live in a castle.
He had to settle for a top floor loft,
Yeah.
a penthouse suite.
But yeah, and that if you remember Papa John's original ad campaign, because they're relatively new when compared to Domino's and Pizza Hut. It was all about, we make pizza with fresh ingredients and stuff, and it turned out that they were fucking lying about that. Like,
well, they still say that.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Better ingredients,
better pizza, Papa John's. No.
Why?
Your sauce comes from a can, just like everybody else. They were saying, Pizza uses canned sauce, and they were doing the same fucking thing, so they were just lying. I mean...
Why was Papa John allowed on the field when, after the Super Bowl this year? Did you see that?
Yeah.
And
Him
he,
and Peyton
Manning
must be like...
Gave him a little smooch.
Well, he's probably stoked about not only Peyton winning, because I would imagine they're probably buddies by now, but Peyton has helped him make a lot of money. So I would imagine he was out. I don't know, actually. I don't know why he...
Doesn't Papa John's run... They might not have done it this year. Sorry to cut you off.
No, you're fine.
Don't they normally run like some sort of Super Bowl deal where it's like if a team wins? I feel like they've done that in the past.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Not sure. I just know that Papa John and Peyton Manning are butt buddies.
Well, I just feel like it's... even if you're friends with the guy, I don't feel like Papa John should be allowed on the field after the Super Bowl.
2 words. Money... and money.
Yeah.
I was gonna say power is the second one, but really, it's just money. Money is power, so you can just take the word power out of it. But yeah, that
I definitely place Papa John's at the bottom of my let's order pizza list.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I wouldn't say the pizza's the worst, but the man is one of the worst.
And I feel like if I'm gonna spend money, like a little extra, I'll go for Donato's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Donato's is wonderful.
There's a place right up the street from us called Carmelo's that's like really, really good.
Which, not to go backwards, but it makes me wonder about Peyton Manning. I know he's, this legend and he's squeaky clean image-wise, but if he's in bed with Papa John...
Literally.
I know Peyton is a Republican, which doesn't necessarily make him a bad person, but you got to think he had, if he's best friends with Papa John, and he's a Republican, it's like Peyton's probably employing some undocumented immigrants to clean his house. Maybe Peyton wants to get in on the Papa John's thing eventually. Just, Papa John and Uncle Peyton. Uncle Peyton's. An offshoot of Papa John's.
So we can unanimously say Papa John is one of the worst.
He's one of the worst. I'm down with that.
Sounds a little stingy.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
I understand, the spirit of American capitalism and everything, but there is something to be said for ridiculous amounts of excess. You don't need 19 Lamborghinis.
Speaking of excess,
Mr. Trump.
Donald Trump. Gosh.
Definitely one of the worst.
Yeah, that's just period, ever.
Yeah.
He's
and
one
the
of the
fact
worst.
that this man is one of the front runners for the highest office that you can hold in our country.
Yeah.
I just...
that's scary.
It's amazing.
It is amazing.
It is quite amazing. If nothing else.
Yeah.
That's amazing to me.
Yeah.
I am amazed when I think about it.
It's amazing that people support him. It's amazing that he gets away with some of the stuff that he says that is just rude and ignorant.
He speaks his mind.
He speaks his mind. Is
that all it takes to be a presidential candidate now?
Yeah.
You just have to speak your mind.
The people who like him because he quote unquote speaks his mind are the same racist motherfuckers that are also just like him and the worst. And it's incredible that he's popular. It's
basically it's just people who don't want to progress and don't want our society to go further. To me, that's what extreme views like that show. It's the last gasp of people wanting to hold on to their racism and bigotry and all that good stuff that we hear on a daily basis. They don't want things to change. They don't want people to have rights. They don't want, people of a different color in their neighborhood hanging out with their kids and stuff. It's just, it just shows that there is a large population of people who are not ready to step into the next phase of human existence, basically, where we treat each other okay and stuff.
And his hair is
Yes.
also the worst. Too. I don't know anyone who has worse hair than Donald Trump. He might have the worst of
Pretty
any.
bad.
His son is just as bad, too.
Is it?
Yeah, his son
I haven't seen his son's hair.
Yeah, it looks...
Is it a similar hairstyle?
very similar.
Really?
Yeah, it's like he almost wants his hair to look like his dad's hair. Which I think makes his hair even worse, because he's shooting to look like Donald Trump.
I feel like if you are trying to look like Donald Trump, you are the worst.
You're headed in the wrong
That's what I'm
direction,
saying. I know we're
that's
not allowed
for
to
sure.
Google stuff, but I'm going to take a second to Google his son. 'Cause it's
I'm
awful.
hesitant to just say people are worthless and terrible, but when you're calling for, a complete shutdown of a certain religious group from entering the country, based on nothing, just based on extremists and stuff, so you're going to overgeneralize and say that the entire population of Muslims are dangerous.
Donald Trump also sold the worst Stone Cold Stunner of all time. I don't know if
Real bad.
Yeah.
I've seen
It's
it.
awful. If you haven't seen that, Google Donald Trump Stone Cold Stunner. And just watch the worst.
I thought Vince McMahon's was the worst, and then when I saw Donald Trump's,
Well, Trump doesn't even fall down.
No,
he just bends over and
Yeah.
then lightly rolls. And
it's sort of like Vince McMahon. I feel like Vince McMahon maybe pulled Donald Trump aside and said, Donald, I'm not very good at selling the stunner, but I need you to make my stunner sales look good. So you're going to be even worse than I am. So
yeah.
Donald Trump was put up to it.
Bender, here's one for you.
Eric Roberts.
Holding up a picture of Eric Roberts that I drew earlier this week.
I don't think Eric Roberts is necessarily the worst actor. I think he does the worst movies.
Who's
Is
who's
that
this
fair
guy?
to say?
I
Because
think
he's done
He's
decent
Falcone
roles.
in
No,
Dark Knight.
he's Sal Maroni.
Sal Maroni in Dark
Maroni,
Knight.
Falcone, Baloney,
Yeah.
Macaroni.
Okay. I mean, he didn't
I just-
bother me in the Batman movie.
Yeah, I didn't even know he was a notoriously shitty actor. I
Oh,
just
yes.
thought he was.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Like, his sister won't even talk to him.
Just too bad.
if you don't, yeah. Make
Well,
the
he's one of those
connection.
actors
Julia
though,
Roberts'
that
brother.
he's
Yeah.
just in everything.
Is he?
Oh yeah.
Really?
But
He's like
he has... You have to watch Best of the Best and Raptor.
Yeah.
Those are like his two just shining moments of shit, in my opinion. But I think Raptor is probably the worst.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's a horrible, horrible movie. And I'm guessing, like, when you're in that position, you go through the motions to get a paycheck.
Right.
But the level of absurdity that is his acting in that film is just, it's off the charts.
I think every time I've seen him, he's been in a very subdued role.
So he didn't have, like, any over-the-top, like, drama going on in Centipede.
No.
Human Centipede 3.
No, and if he had, I think it would have even been off-put by how crazy the German guy was. Because, I mean, Human Centipede 3 is literally an hour and a half of the German actor from the first movie yelling.
So what was what was Eric Roberts doing?
Eric Roberts plays the governor in Human Centipede 3, and he is the one that employed the warden and the warden's assistant but their prison is like the highest in like capacity, the highest in prisoner violence, the highest in medical bills, like everything you can think of, they're the highest in it. And the governor blames the warden for it. So at one point in the movie, he comes to check on them, and he's basically just like, all right, well, you fucking suck, and I'm going to fire you the next time I show up here. And to combat that, the warden and his assistant decide that it'll be financially viable to make a human centipede out of all the prisoners. And when they're planning they want to get it done before the governor comes back because they're going to pitch it to him.
What are they going to do with it? Like, what's the point?
The point is to find a medieval form of punishment that doesn't result in death, but does result in reform and change in the prisoners. And so they think
Are they going to unhuman centipede them after a while?
That's the point. The point is to find a way to attach them so that they can be unattached once they've served their sentence.
Fucking retarded.
But if you're on death row, you get your arms and legs cut off, and then you get sewn ass to mouth, and you're the human caterpillar.
And then you die.
And then you just die sewn together with people. So the climax of the movie comes, and he shows up, and they're touring the human centipede for him and shit. And the whole time he's just like disgusted,
as a normal person
would
be.
And like they finish the tour, and he's just like, "You two you're going to jail for this. Like, I'm going to put you away," and and he leaves. And so the warden kills the doctor that like orchestrated the whole thing, and then he kills his assistant because his assistant wanted to take credit for the idea, and then he's about to kill himself, and Eric Roberts walks back in. I'm sorry, no, before he kills his assistant, Eric Roberts walks back in, and he just goes, "I love it. You guys are geniuses. This is going to change the whole world." And then he like leaves again, and the assistant's like, "Well, this is great. Like we're going to go down in history, and it was all my idea." And then the warden kills him, and he's just like, "It was my idea." And then the movie's over.
Were you moved by Eric Roberts' performance in Human Centipede 3?
No, it's very similar to Maroney in Dark Knight. He pretty much the two scenes he's in, he more or less just kind of sits in a chair and stoically delivers his lines with
He has a bit of agony in Batman.
Yeah, he does have agony about it. In this, he's just got disdain for the people he hired.
I love the idea of him just leaving the room for a few minutes and be like, "You know what? I can see that."
He even gets in his car and drives down the road and then makes his driver turn around and go all the way back to the prison.
I would just like to be. I would like to see the thought process laid out for someone who is first disgusted by that.
Take his neocortex and just delve into it.
Yeah.
Just where the neurons are firing.
Yeah, what happens in 5 minutes where it's like, "Oh my god, this is fucking disgusting," to
you know what? This is a good idea.
Because it's
That's
all
a Donald Trump
they
process,
pitch it like it'll save millions of dollars in taxpayer money because they'll no longer have to buy food because all the prisoners just shit in each other's mouths.
Well, someone has to eat.
The first person eats. The first person in line eats.
Don't you get sick from eating shit?
You die from eating shit.
Well,
I feel like they're just acting as if this is a good source of nutrients.
If you ate shit for breakfast and shit for lunch, you'd be dead by dinner time.
Well, in their eyes, they're just like, well, no one's going to commit any crimes then, because they're just going to have to eat shit. And if you survive to leave your sentence, you have scars on your lips and your anus from where they sewed you together, which is
nobody will make out with.
Which is a mark,
a
mark for criminals.
Letter.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you don't want to be marked as a criminal. Don't do the crime.
Yeah.
That's their whole pitch.
You'll have to eat shit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a thing in real life. It's a drug that makes time slow down.
Mm-hmm.
Literally straight out of Dread, a real thing. and it can make 8 hours feel like 1,000 years.
Oh my
I think.
god.
So they were thinking about the practical application of this, giving like a very small dose to an inmate and having them serve, multiple life sentences in a span of like 4 real-time hours. And it's obviously not going to happen, but imagine the hell of being trapped in 1,000 years for 8 hours.
I don't
It's the
see
scariest shit I've ever heard.
I don't see why not. Like, fucking do it.
You're a psycho.
Fuck you. If you're gonna murder somebody, you should have to sit there for 1,000 years
man.
and contemplate.
Think
about what you did.
For
Think of what
1,000 years.
How much would you have given Hitler? A life sentence for every Jew he killed? So 6 million life sentences? What's 6 million times?
I'm skeptical on this.
Yeah, me too. It's.
I feel like
You're playing God at a certain point, whether you believe in God or not.
I don't know. I question.
Give them the smallest dose to get like 100 years out of it.
Does it really, really, really feel like 1,000 years?
Well, that's the thing.
I wonder. Like, are you sure it doesn't just feel like, man,
that 8 hours
5
took a
o'clock,
week.
Can't get here soon enough. I don't know.
Not to mention, what mental state are you in for that 1,000 years? I mean, you could come out the other end
It's like, I'm gonna
a
fucking kill these
pile,
people.
a pile of goo. I mean,
Yeah, you could.
Or what if you used it to, like, train? What if you're training the entire time?
Yeah.
Training
And
your mind.
you become the
Mind and
smartest
body.
human being of all
What
time.
if he came out, like, the next day and he's just, like, jacked and he's, like, this mental powerhouse and just dominates the entire world. He's figured out shit in 1,000 years of living that no one else in a regular lifespan could possibly ever, come to.
Well, I think everybody in this room is going to find out what that's going to be like, honestly. But
Well,
that's for another podcast.
Oh, was that
Pat Roberts.
guy from 700 Club?
Yeah.
Do you think Eric Roberts will ever star in a movie about Pat Robertson as Pat Robertson? Change his name to Eric Robertson.
Eric Robertson.
Oh, man.
Or Pat Roberts starring in... Pat Robertson stars as Eric Roberts in an Eric Roberts biopic.
What if they cast Eric Roberts, but then Pat Robertson showed up? And he was like, what?
What?
It's me.
It would be like that Family Guy episode where Michael Moore is secretly Bill O'Reilly in disguise, or vice versa. It's one of those things.
Yeah.
It's all just like a scam to get people to get pissed at each other, like the extreme liberal side and the extreme conservative side.
If you're not familiar with Pat Robertson, what you need to know about Pat is that he's a host of a Christian television show called the 700 Club.
Yeah. What does that mean?
I don't know. It just makes me think the Mile High Club.
It makes me think of 700 WLW. I used to get them mixed up because it's like...
I don't know.
700 Club doesn't sound like it'd be Christian.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't imply anything, really.
I'm guessing there's some significance with the number 700 that he's gleaned from the Bible.
Maybe he
somehow.
thinks that's how long he's going to live. People in the Bible live to like 900 years old.
I think I'll just call it the 700. Because everyone in this club's going to live to be 700 years old.
Well, we should state that he's not a normal Christian.
No, he's very extreme.
He's an evangelical extremist.
He blamed Hurricane Katrina on gay people. He says it was God's punishment for us allowing gays to get married in the United States.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
well, if
that's
God
Pat Robertson.
If God exists, why did he make gay people then? I don't understand that logic. So if you're born gay...
No. I would
specific
guarantee
test for
he
you.
believes nobody is born gay. It is a choice.
Yeah, that's true.
They choose to be gay because they're sinners.
They hate God.
They hate God and they want to be gay instead.
Why would you want to fuck a dude if you knew you were going to hell for it? You know what I mean? Like, what is the motivation behind that? I know I'm going to hell, but I'm so attracted to this man, I just can't help but fuck him in the butt.
Yeah.
And I'm ready for my eternal punishment once my life is over. Like,
What's the whole if loving you's wrong, I don't want to be right thing, you know?
You just hope you wake up in hell next to him and you can butt fuck for each other.
Yeah. Or maybe you hope that the devil's hot.
The devil's got a nice big cock.
Nice
It's like
red.
Satan in
Red
South
Rocket.
Park,
Yeah.
banging Saddam Hussein all the time.
Yeah. So it could be paradise.
You never know.
Maybe that's the hope.
Maybe
If
the
there are
punishment is you can't get a boner in hell.
Oh yeah, there's so many hot dudes, but you can't bang it.
Yeah.
Your dick doesn't get
Just
hard.
get it sucked for eternity and nothing ever happens. You'll never come again.
That would be a real bummer. That really would be.
I can't imagine. I'm pissed off that hell was invented. Because it's just, once you're told that hell exists as a child, even as a rational, free-thinking adult, you cannot shake that infinitesimal little percentage that hopes that hell's not real.
It's one of the
For
worst
fuck's
ideas.
sake. Yeah, it's really bad.
It is one of the worst.
Yeah,
But
hell's the worst.
in another sense,
literally.
it's one of the best for scaring people.
Yeah, it's
It definitely
great.
works.
Yeah. When you're a kid and I remember one time my dad asked me to swear to God on something, and he was like, "You'll go to hell if you lie." And I was just, and I told him the truth because of that.
Yeah.
I was lying to begin with. He'd made me a makeshift protein shake that I used to drink back then, which consisted of 4 eggs, a scoop of ice cream, a little bit of milk, and some Hershey's syrup. Raw eggs is what we're talking about here. And he gave it to me and he walked away and I poured it down the drain. I didn't want to fucking drink it. And he's like, "You drank it that fast?" And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Bobby, you drank it that fast?" And I was like, yes, I drank it. He's like, "Swear to God you drank it, and keep in mind, if you lie, you're going to hell." I didn't drink it. I poured it down the fucking drain. Please don't make me go to hell over a protein shake.
You could have said, where you add like the letter in, say, "I swear to gold."
Gold. I swear to gold.
Like they do on Stella. There's an episode of Stella where Michael Showalter does that. And Michael Ian Black like calls him out. And he's like, "I swear to God." And he's like, "No, I swear to gold." It's different.
And then there was the trick where you'd cross your fingers,
Yeah.
so it nullified
Fingers
it.
crossed.
It's like, well, you swore to God, and it's like, well, my fingers were crossed, and God saw that, so He knows I wasn't swearing to Him.
He knows more than you.
People try to fucking trick God all the time, don't they?
They do.
Did you see the thing I posted about how I think it's Mormons will have sex before marriage,
Yeah.
but as long as they don't thrust, it's okay.
You just like go in once
It's called-
and just
And
lay
then
there.
just
Yeah.
stay there.
It's called soaking.
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 That's disgusting.
I'm gonna soak my penis.
It just makes me think
that's-
that it's gonna like go in and then slowly
Think
just like expand like a sponge. Like
Yeah.
Think
soak.
of how much you're insulting God's intelligence at that point.
Yeah.
You got this all-powerful being, and you're like, well, we're gonna have sex, but we're not gonna thrust. and God won't see it, like he's a T-Rex, and all he can do is see movement. As long as we don't move.
He'll miss the first one.
Yeah, because the act of entering, there's motion there. You can't enter.
I feel like
someone
that counts automatically.
I don't know.
That's hilarious.
Mormons are the
So
worst.
do you finish? When you soak?
Man, that would take some serious mental power to finish without moving. I mean, I'd imagine if you had a strong enough attraction to somebody and you were really in the moment, you could just force yourself to.
What do you do? Just stare at each other? And
Yeah.
I guess.
Let's soak.
It's only mission.
Only missionary?
I think so.
You just soak until
you just
your
wait for it?
boner
Yeah, you just
just
wait for it to go
evaporates.
down.
It's just like slowly, just like I guess we're done soaking.
I'm no longer aroused at this point. I didn't come, but I'm just.
I'm really glad that we did this.
You know,
this was fun.
Let's
do this again.
sometime.
You know how your fingers get pruny when you're in the water too long? You think that would happen to your
That's
dick
what I was
after a long soak?
Yeah.
Do you think they have one night stands where like the girl the next day is just like, oh my god, I soaked with this guy last night. I don't know if I'm ever going to do it again.
Of course.
Like they never talk to each other after that.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine a Mormon guy soaking with a non-Mormon girl that he meets.
She'd be like,
or
what the fuck are you
just
doing?
proposing the idea of it.
He doesn't
I feel like
say
you have
anything.
to say it.
He just goes for it. Doesn't
No,
say anything.
I don't feel like he'd say anything.
Yeah,
Take
just
her home from the bar,
and you go to
during
have coitus
during Rumspringer or whatever they call it.
Yeah,
where they leave the.
That's Amish.
Amish.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's the Amish thing.
The
Amish boogie down more than more. Well, I'd imagine it varies from person to person. We don't want to generalize an entire population of people, but
the Mormons boogie down more than the Shakers did.
Yeah. Well, the Shakers were shaking pretty hard, but
yeah, they shook, but
I don't think they had any other fun besides that.
Yeah.
Puritanical religions, man. You gotta get down with Catholicism. If you're gonna go with any of the Christian religions, no offense to anybody else, I'm sure there's beauty in all of them, but it's the only one where the Pope literally came out. I think we mentioned this on a podcast. He's like, even atheists, you're all saved.
You're good.
Everybody is saved.
You're good.
Yeah.
As long as you're a good person and you listen to your conscience, you're going to heaven.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I've always thought.
Yeah,
it's like, why do I have to praise something? Like, as long as I'm not going to fucking be a
worst,
dick.
Though?
What's the
worst
worst
religion?
There are religions that say if you're not born in a certain way, then you can't be saved at all, no matter what you do.
Yeah, I mean,
through acts or anything.
Calvinism.
Yeah,
I mean that's well, you're just fucked. Sorry.
Sorry about your luck.
Are you going to hell automatically when you're born, or are you just not going to go to heaven?
He's got it all planned out.
Okay.
The whole fucking show is already set. The whole thing's a work.
Wouldn't that be boring? Or is it like setting up a model train?
Yeah, I think it's like that.
You know where it's going to go, but
yeah.
It's just satisfactory to see it take place.
And the people think that they've got some control, but they really don't. It's like everything you do, you're really doing it because God set it up that way.
Yeah.
And
sounds like
if you go to hell, it's because not really you didn't really do anything wrong.
It's
God
just you were
thought
meant
you should
to
go there. It was the best place for you.
That's the worst, I think. That's going to hell for no reason at all.
Well, I guess there are reasons, but it sucks that you didn't have any say in the
Yeah,
matter, you know?
come on, give me a chance to redeem myself at least.
There is no chance.
Come on, god damn it!
There is no chance in that equation.
That's the Vince McMahon version.
It is.
No chance in hell.
Yeah.
Come on, guys. Lighten up a little bit.
Who was that a picture
I want to
of?
hear your thoughts on Fred.
Oh, the worst. I think of all the internet YouTube stars, Fred has got to be the worst, I think.
Who?
Do you know Fred?
The kid with the super, super high-pitched voice.
I don't think I've ever seen a Fred video.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
I don't know if I know
You should
that
just
either.
pull up one on your phone real quick get a live reaction
It's just
from you and Dale, since you've
Well,
never seen him before.
I will say I am kind of skeptical about YouTubers a lot of the time, because there seems to be this trend that they all try to act like each other.
Yeah.
Like with the over exaggerated voices and stuff. It's like, hello, I'm something, and I'm on YouTube, and blue blue blue.
Yeah.
But nobody acts like normal people.
Well, you're creating a character. You have to create
Yeah.
something that's entertaining for people. You know. So.
Fred made a video with Weezer.
Oh, here you
It's
go.
really nice out, so I think I'm gonna go swimming later. My mom found this really cool pool at the dump. It's really big and really deep. I think I might drown. And also, I got a letter in the mail. It might be from my dad. To Fred. What the heck is this? Haha, you probably thought this was your dad, you loser. Anyways, I told you that I know where you live. P.S. Your voice is weird. From original youtube.com/Fred owner.
Okay.
How about that?
Well,
Yeah,
So the
that's
crazy guy really does know where I live.
that is really
that's
stupid.
Lord.
That's-
Please,
that's-
God, turn it off.
That kid,
Whoa.
I don't know if he still does, but there was a time I remember when he had like a merch section in Hot Topic.
Really?
He
So
had
people buying like
he had-
Fred shirts, wristbands.
he had a
Really?
TV show and multiple TV movies on
Oh, yeah.
Nickelodeon.
Yeah,
What?
from doing that.
A TV television program that ran for episodes.
Yes.
Wow.
And
That's-
Weezer appeared on his show with
Yeah,
him.
I just
no.
saw that, and when I typed in Fred and went on his thing, it's just... I'm sure he's a nice kid behind the scenes, and good on him for getting his channel going and everything and finding his niche in life, but it's just not my cup of tea. I think that's one of the worst.
How people find it entertaining in the least is just beyond me.
Yeah, it makes me think of genuinely talented YouTubers. Like, Bo Burnham started as a YouTuber, and he's super talented and funny. And then you have that guy who's just talking to a camera.
Who changed the
Pitch of his voice. That's all he did. That's it.
And then just
Yeah.
Yells.
quick cuts
Yeah.
Yeah,
on
at least...
video. And
I was gonna say PewDiePie is also annoying to me, but he at least does things. He plays games and reviews things and reacts to stuff, but I don't know what that Fred guy is all about.
that's it.
That's it.
He
What you
bums
just
me
saw.
out.
Yes, he is a bummer. Big time.
Yeah.
So, well, that's... I wanted to cover all the people that we posted on Instagram this week. And
You know who I think the whole... I saw a picture that said, you know, the whole entire nation can agree that Martin Shkreli is the worst.
Yeah.
I've not heard or seen one single person ever be like, you know what? That Martin dude's all right. Like,
I think that he's a great heel in life.
if
you were trying,
I'm like,
in wrestling terms, if you were trying to be the best bad guy you could possibly be, he's doing a damn good job of it.
well, yeah, I think he's like the Lex Luthor
Yes.
of our generation.
If that's all that he wants out of life, I don't know if you could do much better than he's doing.
No.
Because
No.
he's not doing anything illegal at this point.
Well,
I mean, he's not...
I think he got arrested for fraud or whatever.
Well, I guess as far as, like, you know...
The hiking up of the medication and stuff.
Yeah, that shit
Because the way
was within...
the pharmaceutical industry is set up, you can literally buy the patents on certain drugs and then dictate the price yourself.
Right. And he probably won't... I'm guessing that he won't be convicted.
I don't know.
He
I'm
pled
sure
the fifth, and like the I guess congressional people who were conducting the hearing were pissed at him because of his smug expression.
Yeah, he just had a smirk on his face. I think that he'll probably get out of it. Just when you have that much money, you know. I don't know if you heard about the Wu-Tang thing.
Yeah, something like he bought the album.
Yeah.
He won the album in a bid.
Mm-hmm.
And then What? And now he's never going to release it?
He
Well,
teeters
Wu-Tang-
back and forth between releasing it and destroying it.
Yeah,
it's
for people who don't know the story, the Wu-Tang Clan made an album. They got rid of all the digital copies, and it's on just one physical format in this fucking $1 million or $2 million special edition packaging, and that's the only place it exists. And they put it up for auction, and this dude won it. He bought it, and in interviews, people are like, whatever, 6 months afterwards, they're like, have you listened to it yet? And he's like, nah. Not yet. He's like, I might sometime. Like he didn't even care about fucking having the album, really.
He got it
just
to
the
get it away
act
from other people.
Yeah. And he said that, like Bob mentioned, now, recently he's come out and said that he kind of teeters between releasing it, or not releasing it, but hiding it, and making people go to search for it. He wants people to have like a spiritual quest going and searching for this Wu-Tang album, or just fucking destroying it somehow.
Right.
Like maybe throw it in the trash. But it's up in the air. And he also said that...
Do you think he'd do the same thing with the Holy Grail if he found it?
Probably.
But
for the cure for cancer.
He said that what he wanted to do is kind of show people the degree to which everyone has a price. And he wanted to start hiring out musicians to write him and record for him, like, albums.
Exclusive albums.
Just for him. That no one else will ever get, that he will have in his personal library, and he will never share them with anyone.
Yeah.
Just to have it, and to know that he paid someone enough money to come and write like 10 songs, record them, do their best work, as he said, and then he would hoard them for himself.
He's a supervillain.
Yeah.
That's a man who's not afraid of the repercussions of his corporeal. He's not worried about the afterlife. I'll just say that. He's worried about getting his kicks in before the whole shit house goes up in flames.
And it's not even like he wants to hear like sweet music that is just for him. He just wants the knowledge that he paid someone enough money to record an album and just give it to him that no one else will ever have. He just wants that knowledge in his brain.
Yeah.
I mean, I think even like Trump has his supporters, but everybody hates this guy.
Yeah. I feel like Trump secretly probably likes him, though.
Probably.
I feel like that's Donald Trump-like behavior.
Yeah.
But
what, just like sociopathic?
Yeah. I view Donald Trump, I think he exists on a different plane than everybody else. He doesn't... I don't think he's empathetic at all. He doesn't understand other humans. Sociopathic, yeah. I think so.
Dale, what do you think is the worst song ever written?
Wow, the worst song ever written.
Literally.
That's going to take me a few minutes to figure that out.
I was going to say literally anything by modern country artists.
Wow, that's a very good point.
Did you like the...
I didn't even watch it.
Oh, you didn't?
I was like, fuck that. It's country music. I read your lyrics that you posted for it, and I was like, nope.
Did you watch the video?
You know what? It just came to my mind. I honestly do believe that Anaconda by Nicki Minaj is one of the worst songs I've ever heard. I really do believe that. I think it's awful, and the music video is terrible. She has no talent.
Is that the one where she says, you a stupid hoe, over and over?
No, that's the one she samples Sir Mix-a-Lot's.
Yeah, I've heard it.
Yes, if you listen to it again, it is honestly one of the worst songs I've ever heard.
I've never listened to it myself.
Good.
So.
She displays not even an inkling of talent at all. It's awful.
The video is a bunch of curvy women in G-strings dancing around. The best thing about it is there's a remix where it's there's farts dubbed in and everything. So every time a girl like thrusts her ass out, it's just like so you get a nice little fart
I'm guessing anaconda is a euphemism for, is it?
Yeah,
Talking
because in
about
the
penises.
yeah, I believe so. Because in the original Sir Mix-a-Lot,
My anaconda don't want none unless you got buns, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, and she just
It's
like butchers
my
the
anaconda
whole.
don't.
Yeah.
My anaconda don't.
Yeah.
And it stops.
It's so bad. She ruins that song, and her voice, just the way, I don't even know if it's singing really
It's
that she
just like
does. She just does this like
auto-tune talking.
It's like this terrible moaning, just grunting sounding. Oh, I'm getting mad thinking about it. I'm sorry. It's just really bad.
There is music out there that is the worst. Sometimes I think like movies can be so bad they're good. You know, like you watch them as a joke or whatever, but I don't think music can be so bad it's good. I think if you've got bad music, it's fucking bad.
I'll argue. There have been a couple. Yeah, the Volbeat song.
Yeah.
I laughed when I heard that the first time because I thought it was like a parody.
Well, yeah,
it wasn't. And then Animals by Nickelback. I remember hearing that for the first time, and I was laughing in my car as I was driving. I couldn't believe how awful it was.
I don't think you would put it on for your own pleasure, though, like you would a bad movie.
No.
Like, let's watch Plan 9 from Outer Space.
But it might have, there's at least some novelty on like a first listen, where you can be like, ha!
Songs that are so bad you have to show people.
Yeah.
I remember playing Five Finger Death Punch song, Jekyll and Hyde. Like, the lyrics are just so fucking stupid that I had to play it for Lindsay one day. I was like, have you heard this song? You have to hear it because it's that bad. But I think once you hear it the first time and then I like show it to people, if it comes on the radio, I will change it.
Yeah, you turn it off.
Change the channel.
I think the worst start to a song lyrically is from a Nickelback song, and I can't remember the name of it, but it's the one that starts with Chad Kroeger saying, I like your pants around your feet.
Dun, 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 dun.
I like your pants around your feet.
Oh my god.
Jesus Christ.
I can't imagine sitting down to write my lyrics and having that be the first thing that I come up with and be like, yes, I'm on to something.
This is a hit right here.
Yep.
They're going to play this on the radio.
I don't think that's his thought process. I think a record exec comes to him and says, you guys need to have an edgy sexual song.
They sing about head a lot. A lot. There's like 5 different songs where it's like that's like the base of the idea to the lyrics is like let's talk about
I think
girls giving blowjobs.
Nickelback might be the worst band.
I
don't know.
Volbeat is probably worse.
I think Volbeat is worse.
Really?
Puddle of Mud's pretty fucking bad too.
Did you hear about their singer recently?
Who's
Puddle of Mud?
He's losing his mind.
Yeah,
like
he
in the public eye too.
They stopped in the middle of a show. It was actually in Ohio, like 2 weeks ago.
Oh my god!
And there's video. You can look it up on YouTube. Just look up like Puddle of Mud singer goes crazy. Or something. I'm sure you'd find it. But they stopped the set, and he points at this guy in like the front row and starts saying, "This motherfucker stole my house. Fuck this guy. Fuck you." And like people start recording, and he's like, "You want to record someone? Record this motherfucker. He stole my fucking house, man." And then eventually he goes on, but he eventually just says, "Fuck this," and like gets his coat and walks off stage. And the rest of his band is just like standing there, like looking around, and then they kind of quietly exit. But the place ended up, I think, refunding all the tickets, and they're going to issue tickets to like a future show for people that were.
Were they the headliner?
Yeah.
Oh shit!
It was like the Puddle of
Mud.
Mud.
Who goes to a Puddle of Mud show anymore?
I don't know. I don't know.
But in my opinion, you get what you deserve on that one. If you're going to show up in good faith to try to see a good Puddle of Mud show and you get told that a guy stole his house. How do you steal somebody's house?
I don't know, but I think it would be amazing if it turned out to be true.
Yeah, I was
the guy
thinking the
was
whole
just there
time.
fucking with him.
Yeah, he's standing in the front row, like every funny movie or cartoon where it looks like the main character's going crazy to everybody else, but really there's this thing. Sort of like the famous Twilight Zone where there really is a thing out on the wing and there's something on the wing and they're like, shut up! There's nothing out there, and there really is. Fucking... This guy's just standing there staring at him like, I stole your motherfucking house,
dude. Pulled it off.
He's like,
Mr. Steal Your House.
It's like wearing his robe. Stole it while he was living there. And he just took
Next,
all
I'm
his
gonna steal your girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess you could, if you worked at a bank and you foreclosed. You got foreclosed on, and then the guy bought the house from underneath him. But I like to think he just broke in and squatted down
and kicked him out of his own
house.
It's mine now.
Yeah. Like
he's like the singer's like already fragile minded, so he's just like, whoa. Well, fuck, what am I gonna do now? And like leaves. She's like, God damn it, you stole my house!
He doesn't think to call the police or anything.
He can't do anything about it other than complain about it.
It's just like a video game where you take over a territory.
Yeah, that's it.
Steal someone's house.
Where are you living now? Oh, nowhere, really.
The bus!
Somebody stole my house.
Someone stole your house. Or what if he went home and his house was gone?
That's
the guy was there, just like in the big lot where his house used to be, just smiling.
Yeah,
he's like, I stole your house. You don't know where it is. You're not going to know.
Put it on wheels and or tied a big rope around it and flew it off with a helicopter or something.
Yeah, it's like the Fulton extraction from Metal Gear. Just like puts a balloon on it and flies up in the air. House is mine now.
Yeah. Getting your house stolen would probably be one of the worst.
Yeah, that would be one of the worst things to witness.
Yeah. I think Volbeat's one of the worst bands ever, I gotta say. There's a lot worse because they do know how to play their instruments and stuff. So you could argue that there's people on YouTube. You know, you'd have to dig pretty deep to find the actual worst musician.
Well,
but
as
we're
far as
talking
established acts,
right?
You know,
yeah,
people making millions of dollars.
Yeah.
You know, I was going to draw a picture of Kevin Federline earlier this week. K-Fed.
I don't know. I still don't know what he was famous for.
Being married to Britney Spears.
Yeah,
that was
and
the
having
reason.
Kids with her.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they had 2 children.
What does he?
But he also had an album.
Okay.
And he had a song called Popo Zow that.
That reminds me of
Popo Zow.
Popo Zow. Yeah.
That reminds me of
Poor
Ball
Britney.
with the Ball.
Yeah.
Which is
Kid Rock's one of the worst.
He is terrible.
Yeah.
Well, before we move on to Kid Rock, I just want to clear K-Fed's name real quick.
Okay.
There's a reason why I didn't draw his picture, and that is because I found out that he is a very good father, and that when Britney Spears had her meltdown, he swooped in and fought for custody of their children. And I looked at his Instagram, and it seems like there's a lot of douchey stuff going on there, but there's a lot of pictures of his kids and them having a nice Christmas and all this other stuff. And I was like, well, man, now I can't do that.
Yeah.
He looks like a decent human being, though I may disagree with his musical taste and his style of dress, but
for all we know, Volbeat could be a rock band full of humanitarians.
It could be, but
really
judging
know.
just off the music. And Kevin Federline did not achieve superstardom to the level where I feel like I can go at him on an artistic level.
Yeah.
Because he's just like doing DJ gigs now and people know his name, so it's
his celebrity has faded. He's like a Snooki type level celebrity where it's like you don't have a show or anything anymore. You were just famous at
but if
one
you
point.
appear places, it's like a novelty thing.
Yeah.
Who's worse, Kid Rock or Fred Durst?
Kid Rock.
As far as I know Kid Rock is like a huge conservative dickhead, and he flies the rebel flag at his shows and stuff. And he played a Mitt Romney rally in 2012. As far as I know, Fred Durst is a piece of shit, but he's not overtly racist like that. So I'd honestly go Kid Rock on that.
I think Kid Rock too.
If I found out that Fred Durst was a racist, then it would pull them closer together.
How about musically?
I think
That's
Kid Rock
interesting.
I would say Kid Rock is the worst, in my opinion, just because you hear his stuff more often. Like I think I've said before on the cast, but I listen to the radio a lot at work because it's our only option. And if I'm ever listening to a rock station, they will commonly play Kid Rock. And
Still?
yeah, that's my thing. I'm just like, why? Why
Every
are
now
you
and then.
still playing this music?
Yeah, and now he's going for this like Americana, like
Country rock
country mixed
thing.
with Springsteen kind of deal.
Which I don't get because he's like from Detroit. He
Yep.
like,
Yeah.
grew up in the same
Yeah.
kind of scene as Eminem.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was like more of a rapper.
Yeah.
and
He was a rapper.
sort of, kind of rapper.
He
but
was on, or Eminem was on his first album. Or not his first, but the one that blew up.
Yeah.
Devil Without a Cause, I think.
No, was he?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, there was. I think it was like one of the last tracks on the album, and Eminem does a guest spot.
We
I
talked
think-
about putting on a movie, just for like a bad movie for like enjoyment. I feel like Limp Bizkit would be that band. Like you would put on Limp Bizkit because you would get a laugh out of it, but you could listen to multiple songs without like wanting to kill yourself. Like
Yeah.
it's like one of those, because it happened recently. One of my friends, we were just kind of hanging out, having a good time, and all of a sudden we hear the intro to Rollin' by like kind of, we're like, what the fuck just happened? And we all had a really good laugh about it, and all of us knew the lyrics, which made it kind of embarrassing, but it was like,
Yeah.
God, this is one of those bands that
Brings me back to my childhood.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly,
I really liked that album.
exactly. There
There's
you
just this
go.
nostalgia to Limp Bizkit.
Yeah.
Whereas like with Kid Rock, I'm just like, fuck
No,
this.
I-
Fuck this music.
I liked Kid Rock, but I liked Limp Bizkit more when I was in 5th grade.
Chocolate Starfish.
And the hot dog flavored water.
If only we could fly.
Yeah. What could be edgier than having a white rapper as your lead singer and having heavy ass guitar riffs? Everything.
Yeah.
But I will say this: Kid Rock is definitely more talented than Fred Durst. Because if you learn anything about Kid Rock, he plays guitar on all his albums. He can play drums. He's like a multi-instrumentalist.
He's a really good DJ too. I've seen he's a legit DJ.
DJ,
Wild.
and he can carry a tune.
Yeah.
Fred Durst can do none of those things. Fred Durst can do what you and I do, which
Yeah.
is talk.
Into
And
the
any of us could go, yeah! Yeah!
I have a funny Fred Durst story. That was when I went to the Metallica Summer Sanitarium tour back in like 2003, and Limp Bizkit was actually on that tour for whatever reason. I don't know why you put Limp Bizkit on a Metallica tour, but
Interesting.
They were
Some-
big at the time.
yeah, some guy came out and he's like, "Ladies and gentlemen, we're sorry to inform you that Fred Durst suffered an accident last evening and has hurt his back. He will not be able to perform tonight. We're very sorry for this inconvenience for all the Limp Bizkit fans." And the place just went nuts. Just like, yeah! Fred Durst! Like, just cheering. It was like the Ohio State Stadium. This huge fucking stadium, and everyone just like, yeah! It's like the greatest news anyone ever heard.
That's amazing.
That rules.
And then,
How do you think it
Then
would have
there-
been if they would have said he would have died?
well,
Fred
it was,
Durst died last night.
it was really embarrassing because it wasn't true.
Oh.
They were trying to like pull a fast one
Really?
and like get people pumped when he actually
Oh
did come
my
out.
god.
So then he comes out, of course.
Did they
start-
boo?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that kind of backfired on
Yeah.
him a little bit.
Wow.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
Well, you
'Cause
know
I mean,
he
think
heard
about
everyone
it.
cheer, like, oh, he hurt
Yeah.
himself, and you know he's back there like, oh shit, they like the fact that I hurt myself.
Yeah,
I
but
don't want
just
to
think
perform
about
anymore.
it. Think of your average Metallica fan who's there to watch Metallica,
Yeah.
and then just be like, do you think they're listening to Limp Bizkit in their free time? Most of them.
No.
Maybe a few. A
Yeah.
handful.
Maybe the younger crowd.
Yeah. But, like, no. I would imagine that would be pretty embarrassing if you were on the receiving end of that. It's like, I got this really good idea. Let's tell them that I can't play tonight. And then...
They'll all be real upset.
Yeah. And then I'll come out and save the day and...
Yeah!
Take him to the bathroom, bring it.
I did it all for the nookie! Yeah! I hope Fred Durst is happy. That's all I say. He's never hurt me or anything. He's just a shitty musician who made it big, and
He might be a shitty person.
he could be. That's right.
I've never dealt with him, so I
I
don't
think
know.
he probably he gets a bad rap because of his music, but I'd have to meet him to really, because we have that story where who met Nickelback that we know, like
Butch.
accidentally.
Butch, yeah.
Butch,
Butch did,
Yeah.
He was like playing pool and something.
Yeah,
you
there
know,
was
a couple
Nickelback.
of the dudes from Nickelback were there, and he didn't know that they were from Nickelback, and they were really cool. And then he asked them what they were doing, and they were like, "Oh, we got a gig up the street later." He's like, "Oh, what's your band called?" And they were like, "Nickelback."
they were, the way he described it is they were reluctant to say their band name. Like they're not proud that they're in Nickelback. They're not. Like, he said that they were really, really nice dudes, really cool, fun to hang out with, and when they're like, oh, what kind of music you guys play? Like, oh, rock, alternative kind of stuff. Like kind of like being like kind of wishy-washy about it. And then when they're like, oh, what's your band's name? Like, Nickelback. Like they didn't want to say it, and they like, oh, cool, man.
I wouldn't want to admit I was in Nickelback.
I
if
wouldn't
Chad
want to
Kroeger
either.
knocked on your front door right now and was like, "Here's a check for $200,000. You got to tour with us for 2 months, and then you're free to do whatever you want." I would do it.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I would definitely do it.
Martin Shkreli is right to a point. Everybody does have their price.
Sure.
So playing in Nickelback wouldn't be the worst
No.
thing. It
You
would-
play for really big crowds,
Real
and
big crowds.
everyone would be ecstatic to see you.
Yeah. Because if you go to a Nickelback show,
You're there to see Nickelback.
Yeah, you don't go ironically
No.
to see Nickelback.
No.
You want to see them. So you're not going to be met with that Fred Durst reaction at the Metallica concert.
Yeah.
You're going to be met with, "Yay, Nickelback!"
Be met with...
I have to expect that Chad Kroeger has probably hung out with Fred Durst before.
I don't know if... I can see them meeting,
Yeah.
but I don't know if they'd be bros.
Really? Because I remember Chad Kroeger and the guy from Saliva made a song for the
Yeah.
Spider-Man soundtrack, and I used to
Josie
have
Scott.
it on a mix CD.
Yeah, I had that soundtrack.
Yeah.
I loved that song when it came out.
I
remember
did.
being
How
so-
did you not?
I was so just like motivated.
It was
and
inspiring, wasn't it?
Inspired when I left
Yeah.
the theater.
The Hero song, is that what
Yeah.
that is?
Yeah.
It was a good
It
song.
was a good song.
Whoever wrote that song did a good job. I don't think it was Chad Kroeger or the guy from Saliva.
I liked Nickelback's first big hit when it came out.
I see that. I think that song fucking sucks.
Yeah. It's,
What was their first big hit?
Not like you.
Say sorry.
Okay.
Was we a different story. Fucking hate that song.
For handing you a heart with
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Hate it. Hate it.
These 5 words in my head.
Are we having fun yet?
Mm-hmm.
So-
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not the worst song ever written. I'll tell you that right
Yes,
now.
it is.
Yeah.
No, there's definitely worse songs than that for
Yeah.
sure.
What about Stained? Did you guys ever like Stained?
I did, actually.
I used to get my depression on with Stained.
They are the most depressing band.
Yeah.
Yeah,
pretty bad. I remember that's how I was introduced to them, because I was really big into Nirvana for a good chunk of time, like 5th, 6th grade. I
think everybody goes through that.
I bought all their albums and just listened to nothing but Nirvana constantly. And some kid was like, "You love Nirvana?" And he's like, "Why do you like them?" And I was like, "Oh, because they're dark and depressed and stuff." That's what I was into at the time. And he's like, "Oh, if you like depressing shit, you got to check out Stained."
If you love depressing shit.
Yeah. So maybe those are the roots of my issues with depression, stem from 6th grade, discovering
Because
Stained.
you listen to Stained.
Yeah.
It's depressed you for your entire life. I haven't been able to shake it ever since.
Yeah.
That the lead singer did the national anthem recently at some event, and he fucked up the lyrics, or the Star Spangled Banner or something. He did something that he fucked up the lyrics, and he's supposed to be this like pro-America. He has "Don't Tread on Me" tattooed across his throat.
Really?
He has like some American flag half sleeve thing, and he fucked up the national anthem at some sporting event. You can find it on YouTube. It's hilarious. Aaron Lewis, I think is his name.
Their big hit was that live version of Outside. I believe that was like the first thing that I remember getting really popular, and Fred Durst did like backup vocals on it.
Huh. I don't know if I've ever heard that.
No?
I don't know. I just remember the mainstays of Stained, like the song.
I'm on the outside.
Yeah.
And I'm looking.
Yeah, it was that, but it was a live version with Fred Durst.
Yeah.
What was Fred Durst doing in the song? Was he
probably on tour
together. Think of a Stained song.
He's just like kind of cheering him on.
The other,
I remember thinking one Stained riff was so awesome. It was like I forget what it's like.
Yeah, I was just thinking of that song. To my mother, to my father.
I never liked that song.
I sit here locked inside my head.
You know who reminded me of Sam, who was also kind of the worst?
Who?
Finger 11.
Ugh.
I hate
they
that
had a
one.
ball.
Paralyzer. Paralyzer
Oh,
is
terrible.
the worst song ever.
I don't think so.
I fucking hate that
I think
song.
the other one's worse.
No.
The first big Finger
If I
11 song.
traded it.
No.
Oh,
I hate Paralyzer.
Oh, man.
All the way for one thing.
And like you have these dudes who like are calling me, me and people I ran with pussies for listening like Dashboard and Further, and AFI. But they're listening to that. Finger 11. It's like, how is that not just like a bitch-ass tune? I don't understand.
And
like,
how did they turn into the Paralyzer band?
That
too?
I don't know.
'Cause that song is like...
I
They totally stole the riff
Paralyzer
from
so
Franz
much.
Ferdinand, by the way.
Yeah.
That does sound like Franz Ferdinand.
Speaking of stealing riffs, I just want to point this out real quick, not to deviate. But have you guys heard there's like two newer Foo Fighters songs. One of them straight has the Holy Diver riff in it. Like verbatim.
I've heard it. I have heard it.
Like verbatim. And I'm just like, I'm not mad at the Foo Fighters for using that, but like you couldn't change it even a little bit.
It might be like their rock and roll sample, if you will.
I don't know, because it does not.
If they came out and said like, yes, we are doing that blatantly, we are doing that, yes, then I wouldn't care.
All right, cool.
I wouldn't care. Yeah. But it is like it's like literally like dun 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 dun.
It never finishes.
It just stays on that last thing. It doesn't go dun dun dun. It doesn't do that, but it does like the first half of the.
I'm sure they know what they're doing.
Well, that's what I think. I'm like,
so.
I feel like, shit, I can't even think of his name. I couldn't the last time I talked about this either.
Dave Grohl.
Yeah, Dave Grohl, like, he's such a strong supporter of, like, music and stuff that he wouldn't just, like, be a dick and rip off Dio, you know? But it just seems so odd, like, why? Why did you throw that in there? It seems out of place in the song, and it seems like he is perfectly talented enough to write his own damn music.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an odd one. I don't know.
I'd have to hear it. I'd have to give it a sample.
How do you feel about Rob Thomas from Matchbox 20?
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say I don't hate him.
I don't hate Rob Thomas either.
I don't hate him either.
He's in an episode of Sunny and he's hilarious.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, he is. He's fantastic. Him and Sinbad are in an episode together.
That's right.
Yeah.
He's Sinbad's
great.
bitch.
Yeah, he's Sinbad's bitch.
They're both in an insane asylum. And
It's hilarious.
This is Rob Thomas, my bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Rob Thomas. Sing
Rob
a song.
Thomas.
Shut up.
He does, yeah. He barely gets. I don't think he says a word. He's just standing there with like crazy eyes. The whole
He
time.
does he gets in Dennis's face. He's like, "Wash your ass, new meat," or something like that. He says something like really like morbid, like, "Ugh." It's weird.
Sing a song. Shut up.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is Rob Thomas from Matchbox 20. He's my bitch! Hey, Rob, sing a song. Shut up!
So good.
What was the song that he did with Santana?
It's just like the ocean under the moon.
Yeah.
The same as
The emotion that I get from you. You got the kind of loving that could be so smooth, yeah. Give me your heart, make it real, or else forget about it.
Yeah. Hey, I don't hate it.
Straight up Anchorman tonight.
Yeah, I don't hate it.
I don't hate that song either. I like Rob Thomas and I like Matchbox 20.
I think they're pretty decent.
Yeah.
Yeah, the song where he's going, I'm not crazy, I'm just a little unwell.
Yeah, that's a good song.
That was a cool video, too.
It's a catchy tune.
Yeah.
Well, we can't talk about it because it's not the worst.
It's good. We all like it.
So.
What's a shitty toy?
I was trying to think of video games. I've been trying to think of video games this whole time.
You know what I think is a shitty toy? The sticks.
Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about.
What are those? I don't know what they're called. You have like two sticks.
And you
then
bounce
try
a
to
third stick.
Balance a third stick and flip it.
Oh yeah, that's a shitty toy.
Yeah,
that's a shitty toy. You know what else is a shitty toy?
What?
Is a Chinese yo-yo. Those like paper things that you just like fling them and they like stretch out and they like just expand and then retract and they just that's it. That is not fun. It's a shitty toy.
How do you feel about the paddle with the ball?
Fuck that too. That's a terrible toy. Because who's actually good at those? Have you ever tried it? It's really hard.
Yeah, but I just wonder how long you can actually keep yourself
entertained,
occupied doing that. Yeah,
less than a minute.
Yeah,
I would say
less than a minute probably. I don't know.
Shitty toys. It's hard because like. You get what you... Well, at least as a kid, you typically get what you want. So, you know, for the most part. So, you pick things you like. So, you don't end up with shitty toys. But I've always thought Mega Bloks was the shitty version of Legos.
Yeah, they are.
I've never liked Mega Bloks.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I had one time I had a Mega Bloks like mech robot. You know, when I was younger, I was really into mechs. I always wanted to play Mech Warrior and shit. And I bought a Mega Bloks thing, and like it was just terrible. I hated it. I hated the way the bricks fit together. When I built the whole thing, it sucked. Like I was not into it at all.
You know what I think's the worst is if you go to like Family Dollar or Dollar General, and they've got like really shitty versions of like Transformers or like G.I. Joe.
That's it.
Like, how is that?
That's pretty blatant a ripoff of Dio.
It's the exact same notes.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Sorry. You got like the shitty versions of toys that you want.
Yeah.
And maybe a relative that you don't see a lot would get you that instead of the actual thing.
Tiger handheld games.
Yeah.
Tiger handheld.
See, but as
Mega
a kid,
Man.
I was like, I didn't really care when I was a kid. If I got into a friend's car and they had a Tiger electronic game in the backseat, I was set till we got wherever we were going.
God. I knew those were fucking terrible.
I feel differently because I had a Game Boy, like, as soon as they were released.
Yeah. Well, I had a Game Boy as a kid, too. But
I don't know how you can go from Game Boy to Tiger
yeah.
and be content. And be like, yeah, this is pretty fun. It's just
5-minute entertainment.
Because there was, like, a delay. You, like, hit the button, then it would,
Yeah.
like, appear up here and then go back down. That's, like, all you could do.
Yeah. Because it's like a digital watch or something.
Yeah.
There's all these preset images that light up, so when you perform an action, it just lights up somewhere else. There's no motion to it at all. You guys said something about the worst toy, though.
Yes,
I will tell you the worst toy I've ever encountered. It was in elementary school. Somebody came and did a presentation at my school. It was a man, possibly, maybe in his early to mid 50s at the time, and his whole pitch was that he had polio when he was a young man, so one of his legs was like 4 inches shorter than the other one, so he couldn't play normal sports, so he invented this toy that is basically just a stick with foam on it, and there's the handle is just colored a different color than the rest of the stick. So what you do is you throw the stick to somebody else, and they try to catch it perfectly on the handle.
Oh yeah.
And my school purchased a lot of them, and